Morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Nice to be back.
Good. Glad I get to see you every day this week, of course.
Yes, as I said before, I am working while doing this, so I will have it on mute, just in case like a call comes in. But if you see me glancing to the side, it's just looking at the computer.
No problem. We will be doing about a 5 minute like drop-in practice. So hopefully you can do that without distraction. I am going to be sending out like the guided meditation version of it. I recorded one. So if you aren't able to do it with us today, then you'll have the meditation version.
Yeah.
Morning, Jenny. I think I just saw Helene come in. Helene, am I saying your name right?
Who?
Am I saying your name right? Is it Helene? Helen? Helen. I think you told me this.
Yeah, Helene.
Helene. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
You didn't miss anything, Jenny. We're just getting in here. Okay, so I feel like we have one more. Is it just Sandeep? Is the only other one? One, two, three, four, five. I thought there were six. Okay, we're just going to start and we'll let Sandeep jump in. Okay, so today we're going to talk about tuning into our emotions. I'm going to have a couple questions for check-in because I do want to kind of see just where everybody is at in terms of their relationship with their emotions. But this piece is so important. I think I mentioned yesterday the coach that I learned a lot from, who says like she equates her success to her ability to be able to feel and move through any feeling. And so this is really important for us. I like this. There's a quote that I love that says, "Feel your feelings so you can move." And another quote is, "In order to feel better, we have to become better feelers." And our emotional intelligence is pretty low, not by fault of our own. It's really like they teach emotions to children, and then it's like emotions are like immature from that point on. But really, our ability to be with our emotions and process it, our emotional intelligence is actually so important for our lives, so important to be able to move forward. Because I think, as we were talking about yesterday, I think embarrassment was said twice. So it's almost like this feeling of I go to move towards what I want, and then this feeling comes up of embarrassment, fear, doubt, shame, hurt, guilt, whatever comes up. And then when we feel that feeling, we back away from it. And so what we actually want to learn how to do is what I like to like the way I like to see it. We want to learn how to process it. So processing for me is like a turning over. So it allows us to move forward instead of hitting that feeling and backing away from it, because that literally becomes like this internal wall that we can't pass. So we really want to learn how to be able to move through that wall. Okay. So we're going to get a taste of that today. One of like my favorite um, healing practices is what I'm going to teach you guys today, because it honestly is just a game changer. And then I'm going to send a meditation out in the email of me. I recorded one so you guys can have your own like version of it. Okay, I'm gonna take a deep breath.
Um, Sorry, I don't know if I got the email from you. I know
I,
you were
I didn't send it yet.
okay.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you send one yesterday? You were
I
saying
I sent one yesterday, yeah.
to check my email. I don't know if I got it.
Okay, I can resend. Maybe check your junk.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that if you haven't subscribed to the list, then it might go into your junk email. But I can resend it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Um, okay, so yes, thanks for saying that. So yeah, I'm gonna send the email out with the meditation in it today. Hey, Lissa, morning. Hey, baby. So I'm going to send that email out with the meditation after we do our call. And so one thing I did want to talk about from yesterday as well, connecting to our emotions, but also connecting to what was said yesterday around the emotion of embarrassment. A lot of how we're experiencing ourselves is sort of like outside influences are influencing how we are experiencing ourselves. So embarrassment, for example, is in the context of other people. Like I feel embarrassed in the context of others. And this is a lot of how we move through. Judgment is a big one too. A lot of our experiences of ourselves are through what we think other people are thinking about us. And this is the same thing with our blockages. So when we have a block, a mental block or an emotional block, we're kind of perceiving it as like outside of me, something is stopping me. But what's really happening is inside of ourselves, we have a thought or a feeling that is preventing us from moving forward. And so a lot of the practice that we're doing this week are requiring us to go within because that's actually where our blocks exist. They exist inside of ourselves. There's nothing in our outside world. If we look around, we don't see anything being like, stop, you can't go for what you want. It's really this internalized experience of a thought or a feeling that's preventing us from moving forward. So our ability to drop in to ourselves, I woke up this morning and I was like, I'm just on theme with these things today because yesterday my thoughts were going crazy. Today my emotions are. I'm like, what is happening here? Like, but I think my it's that part of the month for me. So, which is another thing too, taking these practices and knowing that during our cycle, Sandeep, this is not apply to you, but during our cycle, when these things are amped up, these practices really help to utilize, to like amplify that, to like alchemize the times of our lives when our emotional states may be higher. And it's like, okay, now I can alchemize this with this information type of thing. That's just like a little sidebar. But so because our blocks are on the inside, what we actually want to be able to do is go inside of ourselves and be with them. So the practices that we're doing this week really require us to go within to build that security and that sense of self within ourselves. So when people say to me that they're feeling insecure, to me, I'm kind of a little bit of a word nerd. And so insecurity for me is like, you don't feel secure within. And what a lot of people do to try to feel secure within is they do outside things. They'll try to like, change their look or change their appearance. But what we want to do is we want to build security within ourselves by going inside of ourselves and building a relationship with our internal world, with our internal selves. So this is what we're going to be doing today. I also find too, it builds a connection with who you are. You get to know your truth. You get to connect with your truth. And it's really our lack of connection with our truth that causes us to be so susceptible to the thoughts and opinions of others. But if you really know yourself, then because you have spent time within yourself, you've spent time connecting with yourself, then somebody can't really cause you to question who you are and what you're capable of and what you're going to show up and what you're going to follow through on because you know who you are inside. And so this is really important for us to have a relationship with ourselves within, to feel safe going into our thoughts, to feel safe going into our emotions, to feel safe going into our bodies. And we're like, okay, I know me. I know what I need. I know how to give it to myself. I know how to respond. I know how to be with myself. This is really important. This is why practices that are going within are very important. Okay. So what we're going to do today is heart's work. This is a game changer. Again, like I said, I'm going to send the meditation. You can use this all the freaking time. And it helps us to build trust, connection, love, and understanding within, which are components of a healthy relationship, in our lives and with ourselves. So I'm just going to do a little bit of inquiry with you guys first before we start. So what emotions stop you from going after what you want? I'm going to share my screen so you can kind of just see some emotion choices. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So what emotions stop you from going after what you want? And you can just kind of see on here what stands out for you. And just pick one or a couple. And I think that's also so important with any relationship. If we think about relationships, this is how we want a relationship with ourselves to be. Honesty is so important. You cannot have a relationship with someone if there is not trust and honesty. So we want to be honest with ourselves as well. So you want to trust yourself that you're going to be honest with yourself. So when I see this list, I'm like, what stops me from going after what I want? Fear is a huge one. It might be a specific fear of but fear, afraid of not being liked is one for me. Afraid of not being hurt, afraid of being hurt is one for me. So being really honest with yourself about what it is that you are feeling and what emotions you're primarily feeling that prevent you from going after what you want is going to help you to then deal with them and target them and not be afraid of them. Okay, so just write down one or two because we're going to do the practice on that specific emotion. I'm just gonna, oh, did you get that? And then just a little, you guys can put it in the chat or just say out loud what emotion came up, what emotions stop you from going after you want. You can put it in the chat or just say it out loud. Yep, Jenny, I see you unmuted.
Fear of failure.
Mm.
You know, like if you've had this dream for a long time and it's not happened, you're just like, well, it hasn't happened. I don't want to set myself up to lose again, disappointment.
Disappointment. Yeah. So I was waiting for you to say that. So a lot of this is a huge one. We are wanting to avoid, such a good example. We are wanting to avoid feelings. And so we don't ask for what we want and we don't do things that we want because we're trying to avoid a feeling. But if we're like, that feeling ain't got shit on me. I know exactly what to do when that disappointment shows up. We are not going to spend our lives avoiding feelings because we know exactly how to be with ourselves when that feeling shows up. The fear of disappointment or the not wanting to feel disappointment is a huge one for not going after what you want and not asking for what you want because you're like, well, I'm not going to get it anyways. You know what? I don't want to be disappointed. I'm just going to ask for something less. But it's all because I don't want to feel this feeling. And so the better we are at being able to be with our feelings, the less that becomes a barrier. Okay. Really good example. Anyone else want to share theirs? I know you two said, go ahead, Helene.
For me, I think it's embarrassment, anger, fear, and anticipation.
Oh, okay. So anticipation, I was thinking kind of felt maybe a little bit like anxiety, a little bit like that feeling. Is that what it feels like?
Yeah, it's like you think how it's gonna go, but you don't really know actually.
Okay, yes, yeah. Okay, yes, I love that. So that is a little bit of a fear. And then there's some projection of like, I'm thinking it's going to go a worst case scenario, and I'm actually afraid of that thought I'm thinking about. Because I really don't know how it's going to go. It hasn't happened yet, right? So this is another thing that happens a lot is we say what if, and then we see what we don't want, and then we're like, nope. And like nothing even happened yet, but we've already pictured what we don't want. We've projected what we don't want onto the thing. And so then we just retreat from this, image that's not even reality yet. So this honestly happens so much as well. I love that you're saying these things because they're so common and they're so changeable. Okay. This is why I love this work because it is honestly so doable to release these things. And something came in the chat. Overwhelm, yes, for sure. Yep, that's a good one. I feel like, the more that we know our emotions are kind of communicating something to us, stress and overwhelm to me are kind of things of like, my body's telling me there's too much here, and like, how can I step back a little bit and do piece by piece type of thing. But our emotions really can be indicators and communicators as well. Okay, very good. And so most people think that the only way to deal with our emotions is to express them or to suppress them. And instead of being with our feelings, we usually are just thinking about them. Like we're not actually like with ourselves. We're just like thinking about our feelings. Like this is how we usually we are like, I either have to express it, suppress it, or just like sit in it, like is kind of how people mostly deal with our emotions. Not correct. What we actually want to do is process them. And the way we do this is through recognizing. So the first thing you guys said there was like, this feeling is here for me. So you're recognizing I have this feeling. And then we want to connect with it. We want to drop into it. We want to be with it in some way. And then we want to receive from it. I'm going to give you one way of doing it today. Another way would be like, okay, I have fear. Where is that fear in my body? It's in my heart. And then you would receive by like writing, I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that. This is another way you could do it, but you're like speaking from the emotion. And then you want to understand what it needs from you. This is the biggest piece of the resolution. What does this emotion need from me? And then when you have what it needs from you, you are giving it what it needs. You're giving yourself what it needs, not what you're telling it that it needs. A lot of people are like, oh, I feel lonely. I must need to go be around people. No, the antidote for loneliness is not always people. Okay? We actually want to be very specific about what does this part of me need? And the more we can connect to it, the more we are going to receive, and then we are going to know exactly what it specifically needs. And the more specific we can be with our healing, the easier this emotion resolves, this unmet need is healed, and we can move forward. So this is what we're going to do today. This is one of my favorites for this because it's so pinpointed. And the more you do it, the more you practice it, the easier it is to just drop in and be like, okay, this is what I need, give it to myself, move forward. Okay.
I just had a thought, and it sort of has to do with mothering. Like, it's like, what would a mother do to this child? Like, would she listen to this child, hear what this child was doing, take care of it instead of, stuffing it in the closet or ignoring it? Like, what would a good mother do in this
Yes, yes,
situation?
mother archetype for sure.
Does that
That's
make sense?
a million percent because a lot of what we're doing is we're afraid and then we're like mad at ourselves for being afraid and then we're like judging ourselves for being and it really when we do parts work we're actually recognizing like yes all of these parts of me are actually aspects of myself. So however I'm treating myself on the inside is the relationship that I'm creating with myself. If I'm afraid and I'm like oh you're so dumb, you're always afraid, like that is the relationship I'm building with myself. And so, yes, we really want to be able to meet our parts with compassion, with love, with curiosity, with understanding, in order to allow them to be in. This is the best part of it, is that they then go into their healed version. So when we have fear and then we heal our fear by meeting it with love, compassion, whatever it needs, it then goes into its healed version and integrates into its into ourselves as its healed version of integrity, courage, expression, whatever that healed version is. And now we have more access to the flow of ourselves because it's not bumping up against this fear and then getting shoved away. It's like now it flows through what used to be fear as courage, as expression, as whatever. And so this is why I really love this exercise. And I would say for the last 2 years, as I moving through my separation, this was like the main meditation that I did because I was like, I had that situation triggers so much emotion. And I was like, I know for me, and I know energy, if I act on an energy, if I act whatever I'm acting from, I'm enforcing, I'm confirming. So if I act from fear, I'm reinforcing fear. So fear becomes strength. And every time make a decision from fear, fear is stronger. Every time I can make a decision from anger, anger is stronger because it becomes reinforced by your decision making. So for me, I was like, I don't want to make a decision from this. I want to make decisions from my highest good. So let me process my negative emotions and then make decisions from my higher space. Does that make sense? That part's very important because we're like, if we're just making fear-based decisions all the time, fear is becoming our dominant decision-making factor. Okay. We want to process the fear and then make a decision from a higher place. Okay. I'm super fired up about this. Okay. So this is so important. Okay. So now go ahead, Cindy.
Yeah. So on that specific portion which you mentioned that you attend to the feelings and then take decision. Do you take sometimes it may be that when you are attending to a thought, maybe a decision has to be taken on that. Do you do that or decision taking will happen automatically and you don't have to put or will you have to do you have to sit to make that decision making or while you are processing that emotion you might make a decision and act on it is my question.
Yeah, so I think depends how quickly you can move through it. Like if you can see the fear and then still make an aligned decision, beautiful, Like if you don't even if you're like I feel the fear and I know it's there, but I can still access my courage, I can still access my then that's beautiful. Then you're still making a decision based on the emotion you want to reinforce, even though the fear is present. So like they say feel the fear and do it anyways. The fear is there but you're still doing the courageous thing, like even with our thoughts, like for me, there's days I wake up and I'm like, what I'm wanting is not here yet, but I'm not going to make a decision based on that. I'm still going to make the aligned decision towards what I want. Do you know what I'm saying? So even if you're thinking a thought, oh, what if this bad thing happens, but you still make a decision based on your aligned thought, perfect. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't always have to go into the processing if you can access the state you want to decide from or the thought you want to decide from still in that moment, then do that. But if you're like, I can't get there, this is where you want to do the processing. This is where you want to do the aligned thought process. This is where you want to do the emotion processing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, now let's do the exercise. So, of course, oh dear. Oh, there you go. My computer does this weird thing when I click and everything just like shoots away for some reason. Um, okay, so we're probably gonna go a little bit over today. Apologize for that. But I love that you guys stick here with me. Okay, so we're gonna do parts work. This again is gonna have us closing our eyes. We're gonna drop in and connect. And I remember the first time that I closed my eyes to drop into myself and all of like the shit talk that came up, I was like, nah, I'm never doing that again. Like that's insane. And then I was like, I started to like, continue to learn and understand that like this is how I clear out. Like I want to clear this out and this is how we do it. And so when you first drop in, you might just hear all like what's sitting on top, all the beliefs, all the negative thoughts, and we actually want to move through that to get to our truth. So that is completely normal to close your eyes and just hear all this stuff and be like, okay, it's right on the surface and it's going to clear out. And then I'm going to access my truth as I stay with this process. Does that make sense? That's where I'm afraid. And then I'm like sick every day until it's over. Wait, when did you write that, Alyssa? For what?
Sorry, I'm sorry, basically off of what Sandeep was saying. Like I make the decision like before processing it, I'm still afraid. It's what I
Hi.
want. I know it's aligned with what I want, but then like for example, yoga teaching, like I have to teach on Sunday. I make myself sick. Like I'm sick until it's over. And I do it afraid. I know it's what I want to do, but I'm like honestly like in my head and like making myself physically sick, not sleeping because I'm so
Yes.
scared.
That's great. So you made the aligned decision. And then after the fear is still there, process it, do the practice, right? So even if you make the decision towards what you want, and then you're like, shit, this happened to me with my retreat. I made the decision to do the retreat, and I was so triggered by what if they don't like me? What if no one likes me? What if they did? And I was like, I'm going to do the retreat, and I know I'm going to process this emotion on my journey to that retreat day. Like, and so really, you made the decision and then take this processing and do it with the emotion that's still coming up. Don't just let yourself be sick about it. Do the exercise, do the processing. Okay.
What if you don't truly believe that you're ready for it, but you're scared to like lose the opportunity? So you keep taking the opportunities, even though you're knowing that you're not 100% ready for it. You know, is that like just not being honest with myself then that I need more time? Or is it just the emotion that I need to just change the beliefs then?
The
It's so
beliefs.
hard for me to distinguish.
It's the belief. It's what do I want?
Mm.
And anything that's out of alignment with that is needs to be dealt with, really. So if I want to teach yoga and I want to do yoga, but I have a belief telling me I'm not ready, I have a belief telling me that this and this and this, those are all out of alignment with what you want.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna do we might do beliefs tomorrow. I think we're gonna do energy, but we'll see. Look at what listen to the thought one because it's also related. Okay, so let's go into this because we'll probably do this for it'll be about 7 minutes and then we'll wrap up. Okay. So you guys can close your videos if you want more privacy. I always find I spend my life with my eyes closed, dropped in, so it's super normal for me. But if you feel more comfortable with your video off, you can definitely do that. And so I just want you to remember the emotion that you said was something that keeps you from your goal. So whether it was fear, overwhelm, embarrassed, whatever emotion you said that keeps you from your goal, that's what we're going to be connecting with. So before we do, we just get grounded. So you can place your feet on the ground, knowing that you are safe here. You can just roll your shoulders back. Take a deep breath in and really let your system know that you are safe, that you are guided, that you are supported. And just slowly breathe. Knowing that exactly where you are is perfect. For some of us, this is our first time doing this. So this is a practice, this is learning, this is a process. It does not need to be perfect on the first time. It usually never is. Taking a deep breath in. Exhale. So I'm just going to ask you some questions, and you are just going to receive, follow along to the best of your ability. All you have to do is receive what's coming up for you. Okay. So there is a part of you, there is a feeling in your body that is blocking you from moving towards what you want. Is that true? And when I say, is that true, I mean, is there a feeling that's blocking you from moving towards what you want? And then you can just answer that to yourself. Yes, that is true. Very good. And how do you notice that feeling in or around your body? How do you notice it? Is it a voice? Is it a feeling? Is it a thought pattern? And where do you notice it? And once you are able to locate that feeling in your body, it will sort of show itself to you through either a tightness, a tension, a thought pattern. Once you notice that feeling, just notice how you feel towards it. How do you feel towards that feeling? You may hear, I don't like it, I want it to go away. Just notice how you feel towards it. And if you feel anything other than curiosity or compassion, just ask the part of you that doesn't like it or wants it to go away. Ask that part just to give you some space so you can get to know this feeling a little better. Just ask it to give me some space so I can get to know this emotion a little better. And just notice as that part relaxes back, you might feel a shift, some spaciousness. And taking a breath in. And then from a place of compassion and curiosity, ask this emotion, what do you want me to know? What do you want me to know? And just notice what you hear, what you see. And then asking again, what else do you want me to know? Receiving that information, that answer. And then asking this part of you, what are you trying to protect me from? Receiving that. And taking a breath in. Exhaling. Thanking this part of you for the information it's offered you so far. And then asking this part of you, how old do you think I am? and just listening for a number. And if it's any number other than your actual age, let this part know how old you actually are. And notice any reaction to your true age. And again, taking a deep breath in and exhale. And then asking this part of you, what do you need from me? What do you need from me? And you can see one answer, an image, word, feeling, anything that shows up. And then just breathe into that. If it feels right, you can make a commitment to give this part exactly what it's asked of you. Knowing that you are building a bridge, a relationship in yourself, between yourself, within yourself. You're building a relationship with all parts of you, learning to heal, to connect, to receive, to embody your truth. Thanking this part of you for showing up in whatever way it did. Thanking yourself for showing up for you every morning, every day, always on your journey to connect deeper with yourself, to connect deeper with your truth. Breathing into that. Hold at the top. And exhale. And when you're ready, you can just slowly come back into the space. Slowly come back onto the camera if you are wanting, if you are still here with me. And if you want to just quickly share how that was, anyone has any shares that they want to, any questions, any shares, any takeaways, anything?
I felt like I was like envisioning myself having almost like a ball and chain like attached to my foot, like to my ankle. And in that, it was like, I was asking myself, like, what do I need to do? Like, why is this here? And it's like, you've been carrying it with you for so long. And you've almost gotten yourself out of this so many times. All you need to do is believe in yourself. Like, stop the negative thoughts and the outside thoughts. Like, those aren't real. And we've seen you almost get there so many times. And we want you to dedicate yourself. Dedicate yourself because you can accomplish those things. Like, the only thing that's holding on to you is your own thoughts and your own beliefs, but you have the talents and skills.
Love that. And it was so interesting because what I heard was believe in yourself. I'm like, somebody got believe in yourself because I heard it very clearly. I love that. So believe in yourself. And so the thing we want to do is now take that and put it into action. Like in each area, you can be like, how can I believe in myself here? How can I believe in myself here? Like it's like a direct application of what that part has said it needs from you. That's what we want to do. That's how we heal it. That's how we resolve it. That's how we turn that and move that forward. Okay. Anyone else want to share what came up for them? Again, this is a practice. I'm going to send the meditation out and you're going to get really good at receiving from your body, really good at understanding from an observer place, and then really good at receiving what it needs. And then in each moment, how can I give this to myself? How can I give this to myself? Jenny?
Mine was prioritize yourself, like to, I was working with overwhelm. And I think that has to do with putting a lot of things ahead of myself and people and situations. And it was just like, make your stuff the priority. So
Yes, yes.
I was shocked to hear that I was 13 too. So
Yes, I always love that the age of the of what comes through that one. And when we do this one-on-one and when you do it with yourself and you ask the part of you to give you some space, I always love the feeling of when that part actually just gives you the space. And then you have this feeling of like, oh, I can like command my body to do and it listens to me like that. I love that part too.
I was also told to go to a chiropractor to go get some alignment. So
There you go. And so this is what I'm saying. The healing of this is receive what that part needs from you and put it into play, put it into practice. So if yours is prioritize in each moment, how am I prioritizing myself here? How can I prioritize myself here? And those parts will become healed and resolved, and you'll be able to access your healed version of that part of you. Okay. Anyone else? I know we have maybe like 1 more minute. Well, we're over time, but just to get you guys out of here. Helene, go ahead.
Okay. For me, if like right now I have like really lower back pain. It's been like a couple of days. So it's my pain was only in my lower back pain. And I was trying to understand what this was telling me.
Yes,
But
good for you.
for me, like sitting for 20 minutes is like really hard. I wanna like move. So it was just like it looked like I wanna try to escape, but I cannot because it's my body. And so I was like trying to understand why I have this lower back pain, and it's like my body is like freeze, like I cannot like move. So I was
Mhm.
trying to understand what area in my life it's actually is like on my area. But it's like I'm like if I'm projecting, it's like everything is like I'm freeze and I cannot like move and do like the stuff that I want to do. So
Mhm.
I was connecting like both.
And what did it need from you?
Uh, this I don't know.
So
I
this
can.
is really beautiful because this parts work is for any part. So you can do exactly what you did, drop in to my back pain. What do you need from me? Like it really is for any part, not just from emotions. Like if you have a shoulder pain, if you have it connecting to any part of you, you can do this. So I would encourage you when I send the meditation to do the meditation with the lower back pain. Lower back pain is like just energetically is root chakra, is family, is safety, is security, is all of those kind of things. I would say maybe there's a little bit of feeling unsafe around that area in your life right now, feeling kind of like some healing needs to happen around there. I think it would help you to free that space up. It's lower back pain is a very good indication of like trapped energy, like in that space. And it's usually around safety, security, finances, family, that kind of thing. So some flow, some movement around there, I think would be really helpful for sure. So do the meditation and receive what it needs, and it will allow. I had lower back pain, and it was around stuff with my mom. And when I started to heal that, like I'm doing my yoga teacher training, I could barely move before. Like, so it's like it really does allow you to heal when you focus on like the energetic of it. And lower back is definitely energetic, trapped energy in that space. So anyways, do the meditation. I think it will really help to free that up.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I think that is all for today. Alyssa, I see yours in the chat. Let me see here. Me as a 10-year-old talking to myself. Yeah, and I love when we get inner child versions because a lot of our parts are inner child versions of ourselves. And when it shows up as an inner child, as an actual like personified part of you, then I always find it's a little bit easier to show that love and show that compassion because it's like literally I'm showing love and compassion to like a younger version of me. So I really love when it shows up as an inner child. So whatever, as you can see, everyone kind of had a different experience of like what they received. So whatever it is for you, it can be a thought, it can be an emotion, it can be an image, it can be an indication of something. It could be symbolism, like Courtney had the symbolism. Sometimes I see fences. Sometimes my clients see fences or different things like that. Anything that's showing up for you is perfectly fine. it is beautiful. And so just explore it with the meditation. If you stay on script with the meditation, it keeps it easy to receive the information. So we're not just like asking all of these questions. If we're just like, let me just stay on what the meditation is guiding me through, I'm going to receive all the information that I am needing. And then also intuitively, what you are feeling like that part needs from you in that moment, or what you're feeling like you need to do in that moment as well, is also beautiful. Okay, thank you again for staying 40 freaking minutes with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Jenny, for just being so basic too. Love you so much. Thanks, Alyssa, for the hearts. I will see you guys tomorrow. We're gonna do energy tomorrow because I think just even with what Helene just said, I really want to, and honestly, energy has been a game changer for me in my healing because I feel like energy kind of allows us to go to the root and kind of not skip past, but like our thoughts and our emotions, yes, but energy is just like the ultimate combination of those two things. So if we can actually go to the energy of it, then we don't necessarily need to get wrapped up so much in our thoughts and our emotions. I really find energy work is like just the ultimate. So we're gonna do some energy stuff tomorrow. And maybe a little breath work, and then yeah, and then I'll see you guys. And then Friday we're gonna check in with the goal that we with the goal that we put. So make sure you're using these alignment tasks to move that goal forward, okay? Okay, see you guys. Love you. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.